release the bond of the people that are on bond, and so on. The problem is that why do we have to make a blessing about a rooster? What does a rooster got to do with a Jew? I mean, a rooster is a rooster. It's a nice thing. I mean, there's a lot of animals that God created with a lot of wisdom. Even an ant. The Torah says that if God wouldn't have given us the Torah, we would have learned not to steal from ants. Because when ants, they prepare their food and they put away, no ant takes what the other ant prepared. They put it, and every ant knows what it belongs to him, and they don't go to the other one. And then the Torah says, if God wouldn't have given the Torah, we would have learned modesty. Modesty is how to be modest, how to dress, not how to undress. How to dress from a cat, because a cat does it very modest. When they're together, a cat is very modest. They do it in a very modest way. They hide and they do it everything in a very discreet way. So to walk around in front of people half undressed is not. We know it from a cat. So we should say, thank God that we have cats, not cats, the Kohen, but a cat. But here we make a bracha that God gave the sechvi, the rooster, to understand between day and night. So Kabbalah says no. Sechvi represents the part of your neshama that God gave only human beings that can know the difference between right and wrong. An animal doesn't have the ability to understand what is right and wrong, meaning a choice. An animal can't make a choice. They can't do and say, okay, let's choose and let's do the right thing, or let's choose and do the wrong thing. An animal doesn't have that ability. But when the first blessing that we say from the 15th blessing is that God gave the rooster, which is sechi, represents the highest level of your soul. That just like a rooster could tell when day is and when night is, because it starts to make the sounds in the morning. Same too, God gave us the ability to see what's dark and what's light. He gave us that ability, which that is unique, that only a human being has, which is called the bchira chavshit, the ability to choose from right to wrong. So that is a very powerful blessing. That's why that's the first thing. Because if you don't have that ability, then everything else doesn't mean anything. If you can choose from right and wrong, then you're not a human being. Then you're an animal. Then why did God create you? To be another animal? God has enough animals. But choosing right from wrong is not so easy, not such a simple thing. That's why we make the blessing. Baruch atah Hashem. We ask you, Hashem, please draw down this new energy to us, that today that we wake up today, we should be able to see the difference between right and wrong. Now this is physically and spiritually. Some people are called, they get older, they have Alzheimer's. What's Alzheimer's mean? They just don't know what's right and what's wrong, literally. They don't know, is this my mother, is this my father, is it day, is it night? And they're alive, they're going, they're healthy, but they just lost their mind. So that's on a very plain level. Then you have people that are not Alzheimer, they're Alzheimer, meaning they're so fakjavet in the sense that everything they think of is totally opposite of humanity. They don't even know how to put common sense in things. So that's even a higher level. Then there is in good itself to choose what's the righter good than the lesser good. Not between bad and good. In good itself, how do I know what's better good and what's better than good? As the story of one of the great tzaddikim, that someone came over to him and gave him to distribute to charity 300 golden coins. Right after this guy left, a lady came over and she says, I have a problem. My daughter is going to get married, engaged to get married, but we need 300 golden coins for the wedding. So the rabbi says, God sent me this guy to give me 300 golden coins, so then I could give the 300 golden coins to this woman. So he was about to do it. Then another thought enters his mind. He says, why should I give 300 golden coins to one person? I could give 10 golden coins to 30 poor people. So what's the righter way? Is the righter way to give 300 golden coins to one person so they can get married and marry off their daughter? Or is it to give it to 30 poor people so more people have money to live. And he said, after thinking, I think he says, which thought came in first and which thought came in second? To give the 300 came first, and then to give to the 30 people came second, so that means the first thought is right, and I gave it all to this person. So this rooster is even by a tzaddik, to realize in the right, what's the right way of the right. So that also is a hard level. So it's not so simple. In good, to know what's the right or good. That's also hard. Then, 1 minute. Then goes to the next thing. Ha-pokeach ivrim. He opens the eyes of the blind, which is a very strange question. Could a blind person make this blessing every morning? In other words, according to halacha, one of the blessings is that we could see. So the question is, a blind person, when he says the blessings in the morning, does he skip this blessing? Because he says it opens the eyes of the blind. The halacha and Shulchan Aruch says no, he says it. Why is he saying it? He can't see. And the Shulchan Aruch says, look what the Shulchan Aruch says. Shulchan Aruch says that since the blind person has other people that guide him in what he should do, so that means he's making a blessing that there's people that could see and help him do what he has to do. So he says, God, thank God that you open up the eyes of the blind. Now there's an interesting argument in halacha, the Rambam versus all the other commentaries. According to the Rambam, these blessings you only say if it's something that pertains to you. Meaning, if you didn't hear the rooster make the quack 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 in the morning, don't say the blessing. If you didn't put on your clothing in the morning, you're still in pajamas, don't say the blessing. If you didn't put on your shoes, which we'll soon see which one is shoes, don't say the blessing. If you're still a goy, don't say the blessing. If you're still that's one opinion. According to the Rosh, and other opinion says, you know what? This has nothing to do if it happens or not. This is blessings that we thank God that He created in the world, these concepts. It's not if I heard it in the morning or didn't hear it in the morning. Or if I put on my shoes or didn't put on my shoes and I decided to wear Crocs so I could crack away the day. No, it doesn't matter what you put on. Even if you didn't wear shoes, you should still say She'asa li kol tzarki. Because this is not that you put on the shoe or you heard the rooster or you understand or you don't understand. This is that God created these concepts in the universe so we can live like mention in this world. So He made that we have clothing. He made that we have the ability to see. We have the ability to understand. So it doesn't matter. You say all these blessings even if you didn't. And that's the halacha. We don't follow the Rambam when it comes to these blessings. The Rambam says no. If you didn't put on your shoes, you skip this blessing. If you didn't put on your clothing, you skip this blessing. If you're in the hospital or whatever and you didn't put on your... So you don't say all this. Then what's the third one? Matir asurim. He releases the bond. What do you mean he releases the bond? So literally it means you got up, when you were sleeping, you're like this. And now you got up, you're out. You release your arms and your legs is released. You're not bound. However, this also means spiritually, the Torah says, that everyone is in their bounds. And they're bound into the animal instincts and animal temptation. And Hashem gives us the ability to release ourselves from it, not to be tied up to it. And then the next one is Zokef Kefufin, who straightens the bowed, meaning straightens up, which is interesting. According to Jewish law, a person is not allowed to walk b'chomos skufa. You're not allowed to walk like this. Like you own the world. You ever saw like people walk and they're like, you have to always walk with your head a little downwards, like a little humbled, that there's a God in front of you, but not like, oh, I'm here. You have to have this, that's what it says. So you see a normal righteous person walking, you always see him. He walks not bent too far, but you see his eyes are looking on the floor, and he's not looking, you know what I'm saying? And he's a little bent. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. But here, Zokef Kafufa means that even though we walk a little humble, but God gives us the ability to be proud of who we are, not to be worried what America is going to say, what the UN is going to say, what he's going to say. We have to be Zokef. We have to be upright. We are proud to be a Jew. We are proud to be a Jewish nation. We have Israel, and we shouldn't be. And then the last thing is clothe the naked. Naked means obviously the people that don't have clothing. which is interesting halacha I just want to share with you. If a guy comes over to you and says, I need clothing to wear, and a guy comes over to you and says, I need food to eat, which one goes first, the food to eat or clothing to wear? So 1 second. And then the second question is, do you have to investigate when a person asks you for food? Do you have to ask him, prove it to me that you don't have food? Prove it to me that you don't have clothing. So the Torah says like this: when it comes to food, you don't ask questions. If a guy comes to you, says wants food, give him food. Give him a slice of bread. Give him some salad. Give him some egg. Because when it comes to food, if a guy comes to your door knocking for food, that itself is enough of a reason to give him food. Not money, but food. Clothing, you're allowed to investigate. Maybe the guy has clothing and he's just coming to you and says he wants to get more clothing so he could sell it and buy some other things and other stuff. So clothing, you're allowed to investigate, but food is something you don't. But what's the hardest thing is a person doesn't have any clothing. Then he's ashamed to walk around even to ask for food. So we ask Hashem, give me something to wear, so at least I'm not ashamed that I can walk around and I can ask for what I need. And the last thing is Hanosan Layav Koach. He gives strength to the weary. Weary means when we go to sleep, we're knocked out, we're tired, we're exhausted, and then all of a sudden you wake up in the morning, it's like a new person. So that is the strength that Hashem gives us. Hashem should give us the strength to be able to go from strength to strength. And we'll continue Be'ezus Hashem explaining the Siddur. This is the second class of the Siddur, Be'ezus Hashem, till 120 years with all of us together. Amen. Thank you. Chodesh